Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to R Squared Technology. I am your host Ryan, and let's get ready to SolidWorks. Happy Friday, everyone. I hope you've been making it through the week okay. We're almost to the weekend. Yeah! So, in today's video, we are continuing in the Beginner's Guide to SolidWorks 2022 Level 1. I have a link in the description below, as always, where you can pick up a copy to follow along. And we are going to be picking it up in part 2 of making a cup/mug, in my appropriate opinion. And we will be starting on page 251, section 8.3. A link in the description below where you can watch the previous video to get to the point you see here in the preview screen. So, with that, let's continue on. Alright, so as you recall in part 1, we've created the cup itself, if you will, in the previous video. And now we're going to throw a handle in it and do some unique fillet features and call it a cup, more appropriately a mug. So a new thing we're going to work with is a particular type of tool called an ellipse. So, to start, section 8.3, page 251, middle of the page abouts. We are going to select the front plane, Control 8 to bring it normal to, go into the Sketch tab, and over here we're going to choose an ellipse. Now I'm going to scroll out a little bit, and I'm going to press and hold the center scroll wheel to rotate just slightly, just so we can get a little bit of a bearing, and then we'll bring it back normal to view. So, the center point of the ellipse will drag out, and we'll make it roughly this shape. What they want you to keep in mind is some dimensional references that they exist as a silhouette, so to speak. So what does that mean? So we're going to go from page 251 over to the top of page 252, where we're going to throw down some dimensions and relations to fully define this. So I'll hit Control 8 to bring it normal to again. And in doing so, this cylinder doesn't technically have a hard edge to it, right? But it has this silhouette edge here, and so does this bottom part here. And this edge here and this edge here are what we're going to use as two of reference dimensions for this ellipse. So, first things first, we will define the ellipse dimensions. So this one here is 2 inches. And this one here is 3 inches. Finally, these 2 points here, press and hold the Control key, are going to be horizontal. And even further, I'm going to do it one more step at choose this point and the center point and make sure it's horizontal to that as well. And then I'm going to take this, let me drag this dimension out of the way here, press and hold the Control key, select this point, center point, and bottom, and it's not allowing me to do it, so we'll just select the top 2, choose vertical, then I'm going to choose vertical to the center point here, and now what we can do is add a dimension for the center point here from this very bottom is going to be 2 inches. Confirm that. And 1.375 from here to this edge here. Okay, so this is going to end up being a sweep profile. So we're now at the middle of page 252, section 8.4. Okay, now at the middle of page 252, section 8.4, we are not going to start into the feature quite yet. We are going to create an auxiliary plane. So to do so, let's first exit the sketch. We'll come over here in the feature tree, click once on sketch 2, click twice, and then we will rename it Path Sketch. Hit enter, Control S. Save often. So, from here, we are going to go over into the Features tab, and we're going to choose a reference geometry in a plane. Now we need 2 points of reference to make this plane fully defined. So the first thing we're going to do is come up here in the top left, choose the right drop down arrow, and we're going to choose the right plane. And then I'm going to press and hold the scroll wheel to rotate the cup, as you see here. And then we're going to choose this point here on our previous sketch. This is now fully defined and is going to give us the plane for the next sketch for our next profile. So we can select OK, and that brings us to the middle of page 253, section 8.5. Alright, now that we've completed our auxiliary plane, we're going to move on to section 8.5 on page 253. We're going to start another sketch, making sure that it is on plane 1. So in the feature tree or clicking in the graphics view, select plane 1. Come over to the sketch tab, and we're going to make another ellipse here. Now, there's something they want to show you, which is if you hit Control 8 to bring it normal to, what happens is it rotates it this way to show the right side view. So the cup is in front of the sketch plane that we're going to work on. This is the sketch plane here, plane 1. And if you hit Control 8 again, we now rotated it this way to where the sketch plane is in view in front of the cup. In other words, we're technically looking at the left side view, or the back side of that plane. So with that, I'm going to actually rotate it back to more of an isometric type view, and I want to make sure that I select this top point of our previous ellipse sketch, click and drag out, and we'll do something like this. Now from here, I'm going to go Control 8 to bring it normal to, and normal to again on the back. I'm going to then select these 2 points here, same kind of relations. We want vertical, and then we want these 2 here to be horizontal. And then from here, we'll add the height of 0.375 and a width of 0.75. And this is at the top of page 254. The final thing we'll do here, we're fully defined, is we'll hit OK, exit the sketch, and then we'll click once on the sketch, click twice, and then we're going to name this one Profile Sketch. Click anywhere out, click Control S, and now we are on to page 255 at the very top with section 8.6. And now moving on to section 8.6 on page 255, we're now going to introduce a new feature called Sweep Boss Base. So for this, I'm going to press and hold the center scroll wheel to rotate. So we're going to have some preview here, or I could just do this space bar and go into an isometric view. However, it's probably going to be best viewed something like this. This is about where the book has it. So from here, let's come over to the Features tab, and up here you're going to see Swept Boss Base. Click this. New and exciting command. So from here, we want to use Sketch Profile, and then in this box here, which is the Profile box, we're going to click that, and there's 2 ways. You could select the sketches from the graphics view, but to be a little bit more precise and sure, we're going to go from the little arrow here, flyout menu, and we're going to choose the profile sketch for the profile, obviously, hence why we renamed them. And then it's going to automatically bring us down to the next, which is the path, so we'll choose the path sketch. It's now going to generate our good old banana yellow, puke yellow colored preview here. And the next thing also that we want to do is under options, make sure that we have Merge Tangent Faces selected. And from here, we can click OK. And then I'm going to just click in the graphics area and hit Control S, save that. And now we will move on to section 8.7 at the top of page 256. Moving on to page 256, section 8.7, we're going to learn something within the sketch tools. So, I'm going to rotate the cup up, and you're going to notice that the handle goes all the way through the cup. Well, We don't want that. So the solution is, among many different options here, we're going to do a cut extrude. But first, to do that, what we're going to do is I'm going to hit the space bar and I'm going to bring the top view normal to. We're going to select this top face of the cup, and then we're going to go into a sketch. Now I'm going to hit escape twice because there's a specific edge I want to select in this. First we're going to select, and actually I'll bring it just slightly offset, because since we're directly down, we don't want to end up grabbing one of these lines down here by accident. I want this ID edge here, and then I'm simply going to come up here and convert that entity. Also, I'll just hit Control Z real quick and hit escape. The other way of doing it is you can choose convert entity, and then it's going to ask, okay, what is your selection? So again, it would just be this edge here. And then we can select OK, and then we can exit the sketch. But in this case, we're not going to, because we can just move into our next command and feature for that matter, which is going to be the extrude cut, which is going to be on page 257, section 8.8. Now from here, section 8.8 on page 257, we're going to finalize this sketch into a feature. So we'll go into the Features tab, and we're going to choose Extruded Cut, and we're going to do something a little bit unique with the end condition here. So currently it's blind, and we could choose an up to surface end condition. However, if we did that and we chose something like this, we could end up cutting into this radius. So what we'll do is in our end condition, we'll choose, instead of blind or up to surface, we're going to go up to next right here, and then we can simply click OK, and just like that, the handle is only where we want it to be. So from here, I'm going to go spacebar, bring it back isometric, Control S, and we're now going to go from page 257 over to page 258, section 8.9. Starting at the top of page 258, section 8.9, we're going to use a different version of a fillet. And real quickly, I'm going to right click on this plane and hide it, because it's no longer necessary. So this flat edge here, we're going to turn into a rounded fillet. We're going to do it in a unique way, in a simplified way, so we don't have to actually have multiple fillets and math it out to get there to be no face, and just make it completely rounded. So from here, make sure you're in the Features tab, come up here and choose Fillet. We don't want anything selected right now. And then under our fillet type, we're going to come over here and choose Full Rounded Fillet. Now we have to make 3 different selections minimum to make this happen. So face 1 is going to be this internal face here. Then this here is going to be our flat face, or face 2. So select this one here. And then our third face is going to be this external cylinder of the cup here. Make sure tangent propagation is set. Click OK. We'll zoom in, and you can see that we've eliminated that flat face here and made a fully rounded radius fillet. Hit Control S, spacebar, bring it isometric, and then we'll now move on to page 259, section 8.10 or 8.10. Alright, home stretch, baby. We're on to section 8.10 or 8.10 on the top of page 259, where we're going to add one more set of fillets. So come up here, choose fillet. Now make sure, again, once you choose certain properties to certain features, they kind of default to that the next time you use them. Not always, but sometimes, so that's something to keep in mind. So here in the fillet type, we need to go back to a constant size fillet, and then we want a radius of 0.25, but we can select the edges first. So we want this one and this one here, and then our dimension will be, radius size will be 0.25, enter, and click OK. Hit Control S, and now the final thing to do is section 8.11 at the bottom of page 259. I'm going to hit the space bar real quick, bring it isometric. We're going to come over here into our feature tree, right click on materials, and we're going to go into edit materials, and they want us to choose ceramic porcelain. So for that, this is going to probably be under other non-metals, and there it is, ceramic porcelain. Click apply, click close, and we can even come up here in the top, make sure review graphics is turned on, depending on which version of SOLIDWORKS you have, whether it's SOLIDWORKS Standard, SOLIDWORKS Professional, or SOLIDWORKS Premium. The graphics are going to be a little bit higher quality as you go up in the version. So that completes the cup. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something from this, and I will see you next Friday for the next video, where we are going to go over a simple spring starting on page 261. Take care.